and Miss Lee. Miss Gladys Lee with NAACP. Miss Lee, can you give us an overview of what you've seen transpired today and the last 3 weeks here in Quitman?
Well, I've seen justice rolling down like a mighty stream. That's what I've seen. Because the truth will prevail. And that is what we have been seeking for 40 years. And I think we are getting closer to the truth.
And Mr. Brooks, overview, Mr.
I
Brooks.
concur with Ms. Lee. I think it's obvious that the state doesn't have a case against the Quitman 10+2. This is a continuation of voter suppression and voter harassment and intimidation of our people. It's obvious that they have a very weak case, and Attorney C.B. King, with his legal skills and a great mind, is able to just shoot holes through every argument the state tries to put on. I want to say to the National Democratic Party and the State Democratic Party that you need to be here in Quitman. If you're concerned about voter intimidation, voter suppression, this is ground zero. This is a classic case to show the world just how much a system will do and how far they will go to suppress our votes when we're winning elections and taking power. And I would urge the National Democratic Party to not only look at North Carolina and Texas and Virginia and you know, Texas is one of the classic states. They always want to go to Texas and file cases, but I just think we need to look at Georgia. And I think they need to look at South Georgia and the fact that African American voting strength in this area is being suppressed. This is not just an isolated example of voter suppression. It happens all over the country, but this is the most egregious case that I've seen since 1982 anywhere in America. But we're going to win this case. There's no doubt about it. We've won 2 trials with Lula Smart. We're going to win this one. And I think if we win this one, the state will just say, well, that's enough. We can't justify wasting any more taxpayer money. And I don't think they'll try anyone else after this case ends because they won't get a conviction on Lula. I think it'll be either a case where the judge would consider dismissing the case entirely, or it would be an acquittal outright, or another hung jury and a mistrial. But, you know, I wish we could bring in all of the political science students from all these universities and colleges to sit in this courtroom and just witness the classic case, I call it the classic case of voter intimidation and voter suppression. But we're going to prevail. We'll continue to be here. We'll be back in a couple of days. Hopefully this case will wind up very soon. I know the jury's ready to go, the judge is ready to go, and all of these citizens are ready to get back to their normal lives.
Now, Mr. Brooks, this has been going on since 2010.
Yep.
4 years later.
Yep.
They've been taken out of office. They have won re-election over again.
Yes.
And they're still trying to try.
They win every time they're on the ballot. They win by huge margins, which tells you that a majority of the citizens of this county support the Quitman 10 and do not support voter intimidation and voter suppression and the harassment of people simply because of their race and the fact that they're winning office. But, you know, we have to be ready for the long-term struggle and not just a short-term victory, because when we win this one, we got to get ready for the next election cycle. Diane will be on the ballot in a little while. November, we'll be looking toward, 2016 soon. We have ample opportunity to increase more voters, put more voters on the rolls, and run more candidates. You know, I dream that African Americans would just continue to win positions. The sheriff, the district attorney, some of these judgeships, county commission seats. We can do whatever we set our minds to do as long as we stay united. And I really believe the power structure didn't realize that what they've done is they have awakened a sleeping giant, and they've created more unity in this community than they'd ever imagined. But I'm just proud of this community. And looking at the courtroom every day, we have a pretty good delegation of African American citizens sitting in that courtroom and observing and watching. 7 African Americans on the jury. They are very attentive and they are taking in all of it. The witnesses for the state are really kind of embarrassing in a way. And I think the judge is just saying to himself, why don't they get this over with? Let's go home. Why do they keep bringing this? But this is what you have to endure when you get into this battle. This is a battle for the power that exists in this community. It's about the power. Who's going to control the power? And African Americans, they are on the verge of taking more power, and that's what they're really afraid of.
Why is it not in the front page?
Because we're winning. Because we're winning. As I said over lunch today, if we were losing Valdosta Times, local Quitman paper, network TV from all around this region would be in here. But the fact that we win and keep winning, they saw 2 bench trials in the previous case of Lula Smart, and they are looking at the makeup of the jury, and they know that the case is so weak on the part of the state that it's likely to be a similar outcome. So unless it's negative news, they won't cover us. Positive news, they run from us. But at the end of the day, we have to be concerned about those who are willing to cover us. In fact, you're here, George is here, we'll get the story out. And we'll hopefully entice some other media to come and cover it because it deserves national coverage.
Now I'm looking at it in terms of Ferguson.
Yep.
Missouri.
Yep.
This is only one step above Ferguson.
Yep.
This is what Ferguson needs to get to.
Yeah, well, this was Ferguson before Ferguson. This was a political attack. This was an attempted assassination of our brothers and sisters here in Quitman, Brooks County, in 2010. Well, they didn't expect us to be here. They thought they could get away with it. They thought they could throw them in jail, scare them away from the polls, scare them from ever putting their names on the ballot again, but it backfired. The fact that you had Dr. Joe Lowry here in 2012, and Senator Charles Steele here in 2013, and the chair of the Legislative Black Caucus here in 2013, and the fact that we still come, we're still coming. Miss Leah's here every day. She's got the AKAs, and we need to get the Deltas in here, and all of the sororities and fraternities. And, we'll continue to work, but I think what happened in Quitman is probably a blessing in disguise, and we don't even realize it. I think the Lord works in mysterious ways all the time, and I think this is just one of those blessings that's coming our way in a strange way. It has awakened a sleeping giant, and African Americans in this community are saying we will not turn back, we will not go back, we're going forward.
The late Senator Robert Brown.
Yeah.
He came here early with you.
Yeah.
We went to Slab. We just covered a lot of territory. Did not he have it right? Do you remember he said that this possibly needs to be implemented across the nation, this absentee ballot?
Yeah.
And undoubtedly, although he's no longer with us, but the spirit for which he said in Macon when we were there, he had something going, did he not?
He did. Senator Brown was one of those that really encouraged me in late 2010. Now, Representative David Lucas made the first call. Then Reverend Floyd Rose in Valdosta made the second call. Senator Brown made the third call. And throughout that early 2011 session in the Capitol, Robert Brown and I will confer every day about Quitman. And he brought Dr. Nancy Dinner to Atlanta and had her running around with him all around Capitol Hill. And then he took her to Derek Bozeman's show. And that's the first time I heard from Dr. Dinner, the Derek Bozeman show. That was early 2011. And then, of course, we came here in May of 2011. I remember Robert Brown, David Lucas, Helen Butler, Emily Davis, commissioned out of Baldwin County. We came in here, we walked the neighborhoods, we went around this community. May 7th, we went down to Rosie's. After we met with the lawyers up in Valdosta, Attorney Copeland and all of them. Then we came here, went down to Rosie's, had lunch, and then we just scattered out. And we walked all over this community that day. And we could see how African Americans were feeling about the way they had been treated by the authorities, the FBI, the G.B.R, the state election board, the county sheriff, how they had been harassed and just insulted. And I could see that these folks wanted to fight back. And so I told Robert and David and Helen and Emily, listen, we gotta just go back down there. We gotta dig in. We brought the G.B.R Winter Conference here. We had to use 2 churches down the street. We marched 1,000 people on this courthouse, and it just kept going. And we made a commitment that we were not going to leave the Quitman 10. And one thing that touched me this past June in Savannah at the G.B.R Summit Convention, Quitman 10 came over and Diane Thomas stood up in the convention and she made a statement that just made everybody in G.B.R feel so humble. She said, G.B.R is the best thing that ever happened to us. She said it on the convention floor. And I looked around the convention and everybody was like, wow, she would say that about us. But Diane said, listen, if y'all hadn't come to Quitman, we wouldn't be on the map. We wouldn't be fighting like this.
That's right.
And so we made a commitment in Savannah in June that we would continue to work in this community beyond this trial, we're going to continue to work in this community, because what we can do is take what happened in Quitman and we can export it around the country. And we can show people, particularly African American and minorities, how you can dig in, unify yourselves, and win. And if they come after you, how you can fight back.
Yes.
Amen.
So we're here.
Thank you
we're
very
here
much.
for the long term.
Thank you very much. One other thing, I'm a man of symbols, and I would love for you to break down what are those armbands around your wrist. Please tell us what they reckon. I'm a man for symbols.
Well, this one, the green one, is one that came to me from the Georgia Rural Urban Summit. It says, "Stand up for others." And when they gave it to me 4 or 5 years ago, I said, I'll wear it every day, because all my life I have been taught to stand up for others. The other one is really directed at men, particularly African American men. It's urging them to go and get their prostate cancer and colon cancer exams. And I'm a regular in my doctor's office 3 or 4 times a year. And actually, this red one came from Quitman. It's kind of worn, but it says "My vote counts."
Yeah.
This one was given to me in November of 2012 when I came down to help Dr. Dennard with her campaign. She didn't really need any help because the people were running to the polls in November of 2012. But this is from Quitman, and I need to get another one because it's worn out. It says, "My vote counts."
And Tyrone, I want to join you because I have one too.
All right.
This one is for workers' rights.
Yes.
In that we are in an at-will to work state, which means they can get rid of you for good cause, bad cause, or for no cause at all. And that law needs to be changed. Thank you, my brother, for wearing some symbols. Thank you all for wearing some acronyms.
Amen.
Thank you, my beautiful sister.
And
Thank
I
you,
have
Brother Clyde, for doing what you
And
do.
I have my shining armor. This is my protector.
Let me get that one. Hold on right there. Let me get that one, because that's Dr. King. I got to get that one. Thank you.
I feel protected when I'm wearing Dr. King, and I guess a lot of people say, why does he wear that every day? Well, I feel like what we're doing is connected to Dr. King. I think if Dr. King were alive today, he would be in Quitman, he would have his troops in Quitman, and we would be out here working just like we're working now. And I just try to uphold Dr. King's legacy in every way possible.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And since we're talking about symbolism, I'm wearing my United States American flag because I am an American.
Yes.
And I believe in the rights and the responsibilities of all Americans.
Amen.
Black, white, purple, not just
We are standing up for what America really was founded to be, democracy. This is a republic.
Yes.
We live in a republic form of government with democratic principles, and that's what we are doing. That's what Dr. King preached about.
Yes.
And we want the best for this democracy. We are trying to make the country that we love better. That's what this struggle is all about. We'll make it better.
make it better.
And so that's what Ms. Lee and all of us say every day. We want America to be the greatest country on the planet.
Yes.
And that's what this struggle is all about.
Thank you very much.
Now, I got one more question.
Go ahead, Ron.
We're coming up on the 50th anniversary on the march from Selma to Montgomery.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
And we're talking about voters' rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does this play?
It's
Coming
all
upon the 50th
connected. It's
anniversary.
all connected. We certainly, in March of next year, 2015, it will be 50 years, but you know the Voting Rights Act has been suspended by the U.S. Supreme Court. And we have to fight to get Congress and the White House to agree on a plan to renew the Voting Rights Act. Otherwise, our voting rights are really in jeopardy. But the struggle in Quitman is about the Voting Rights Act. And you know, we believe that if the Obama administration and members of Congress in both parties would go ahead and sit down and work this out, just like Lyndon Johnson and the Democrats and Republicans did in 1965, we can see another Voting Rights Act. But the Quitman movement, the Quitman 10+2 movement is all about the Voting Rights Act. And I'm sure that March of next year, we'll see a large contingent from Quitman, Brooks County, over in Selma to Montgomery as we commemorate the 50th anniversary of the greatest statute law that has been enacted since the Emancipation Proclamation. And Maynard Jackson used to say that all the time. He would say, the Voting Rights Act is the greatest law that's ever been adopted since the Emancipation Proclamation. And I agree with that.
On that note, I'll say thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm in Brooks County, Georgia, in front of the Brooks County Courthouse, and that's the red, white, the blue, and you. All you people who serving in the United States Armed Forces, all you who are retired, military people. Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press. We report what others ignore. Bye-bye. We gone.